I'm going to tell you some of the things I like and don't like about both these basses, because there are things that I like and things that I have problems with on both of them. They're both heavier than they should be. They're both about the same weight. The jazz bass may be slightly lighter, just slightly lighter, and it actually balances a little bit better. The Sire tends to be a little bit more neck heavy for some reason. There's more of the weight is out towards the headstock on that one. Both necks feel good. The string spacing is slightly wider on the jazz bass. I've measured it. It's 18.75 millimeters. The Sire is 17.5 to 18 millimeter, probably closer to 17.5. So for someone that's used to playing a Stingray 5, the Sire feels closer. The strings are a little bit closer together for the right hand. It's a little bit more comfortable to play. The Fender just feels a little bit bigger. As far as hardware, similar on both. The Fender's got the high mass bridge on it, which I don't love. The Sire is string through body. The tuning keys are similar on both. I'll say that the Sire keys actually feel a little bit more stable than the keys they're putting on the Fenders. If you grab the tuning key and just kind of wiggle it back and forth, you can feel a little bit more play in the Fender key. The Sires are pretty tight. Now this is generation 2. I have heard and read people complaining about the hardware on the older generations, but the bridge and the tuners look fine on this Sire bass. So no complaints at all, and I can't imagine why anybody would need to replace this hardware. Really the same thing with the Fender. The hardware is totally functional on both of them. I think they both look great. The Sire is this interesting sort of metallic plum color that they call burgundy something with the matching headstock. I do like the block inlays. The binding is so subtle. It really doesn't, it's not something you can really see very much when you're looking at the bass or playing it, but it's there and it's nice. And again, I do like the black block inlays. It's a very 70s looking jazz bass, and I appreciate that. And it looks nice with the matching headstock. I don't like the string tree on the Sire. This string tree is one of the solid string trees that goes all the way across the headstock, and it makes it difficult to string the bass. You got to get the strings up under that thing, and then if you take the strings off and you want to put them back on, and you got the coiled up part of the string, you have to try to pull all that straight so you can get it up underneath that thing. The Fender's better, I think. I don't love this. It doesn't look great. I don't think this is very elegant the way Fender does this, but you don't have to. You can just pull the strings kind of to the side and get them out. You don't have to go under the string trees on these. As far as the fretboards, the Sire has an ebony fretboard that I showed in my unboxing video. It's dyed. It's turning my fingers a little bit black. The Fender's maple. It has a nice matte finish fingerboard, which I like, and the back of the neck too. The backs of the necks on both are matte finishes. There's no sticky gloss or anything to stick to your thumb. As far as tone, I think they're both okay. The Sire preamp I think sounds really good, and I think the pickups sound really good. That whole bass is a little bit brighter and a little bit more compressed sounding. It's more hi-fi sounding. I think they're actual single coils in the Sire, and the Fenders, I'm sure, are some kind of stacked humbucker. But the Fender has a little bit more open sound to it. It's a little bit more dynamics. It's not as compressed as the Sire. So that's personal preference. It depends on what you're playing. If you're looking for that Marcus Miller compressed, bright, flat kind of sound, it's probably going to do it a little bit better. If you're looking for a little bit more growl to the tone, a little bit more bloom, a little bit more of a vintage flavor, I think the Fender's going to do that better. So that's what I think. You've heard them. I've done the unboxing videos on both of them where I go into more detail about what I saw when I opened them up. It's always interesting when you get one out of the box for the first time. What kind of impression is the instrument making right out of the box from the manufacturer? This is a present for my daughter for Christmas. By the time this video comes out, Christmas will be over. I'm not going to publish it early in case she sees the video. This is supposed to be a surprise. Now, I know she would like the pink color on the Sire because she saw this bass online and liked it. The opal sparkle on the jazz bass is very Lake Placid blue-ish, although not exactly. It doesn't have as much green in it. It's not as flashy for a 16-year-old girl as maybe the Marcus Miller bass, but I think over time it might wear a little bit better. The other thing is the Fender does come with a gig bag and the Sire doesn't. Now, let me just be completely honest about this. This is not a great gig bag. There's no padding on the bottom of it. When you put the bass in the bag and you pick it up, you can feel the strap button on the bottom. You can feel the bottom of the bass. It's not so. It's the sort of gig bag that would be fine for storing in the house or in a closet. I wouldn't take the bass out very much in that. So yes, you do get a gig bag with the Fender, but it's not a great gig bag. I certainly wouldn't base my buying decision on that. Okay, so after all that, which bass are we going to keep? I'm keeping the Sire. I think my daughter's going to love the color. The Sire has a little bit tighter string spacing, so she's been playing my Stingray 5. This feels more similar to the Stingray 5. Not exact. The neck does feel a little bit wider, but the string spacing is so similar that it's going to be easy to go back and forth between the two of those. It sounds great. They both sound great. This bass sounds great. I don't love all the knobs on this bass. I think this is too complicated. For an active system, I'd rather just have a volume control, a balance control, and just a bass and treble. Similar to what Marcus Miller had on his jazz bass all those years that Roger Sadowski did for him. And it was just a boost preamp for the bass and treble, similar to what the old original Stingrays were. I like that. This to me is just too much. You know, some people will like this. Some people like a lot of knobs and switches. It's comfortable to play. It sounds really great. It's a great deal for the money. Both of these really are the prices are fair. The Marcus Miller is a better price. For sure, it's a better deal because I would say the quality is very similar on these two basses. You do get a gig bag with the Fender, but that's not something that adds a lot of value to the bass in my opinion. It's just not. Fender could have given us a better gig bag, and both of them could have done a better job with the frets. The sharp fret ends on both these is really just unacceptable. Even guitars in this price range, and it's just not hard to fix. It's something that they could get right more easily at the factory, and they just don't do it. But yeah, anyway, so keeping the Sire. Kudos to Marcus Miller for helping design this and get it to production and getting them out to bass players. The price is more than fair. I hope this is helpful for people that are trying to decide between these two basses. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking the video out, and see you next time.